This is the intro to my video. Please subscribe. Hey everyone, and welcome to Really Rough Rug Tufting with ChrisCollected. On today's episode, we have Hearts Part 2. In the last episode, I went ahead and tufted a dozen hearts for Valentine's Day. Went and glued them. After that, I cut them all out, about an inch border around. Then I cut into that border about 1 inch increments. Now I'm going to use a hot glue gun and seal all the edges. The technique that I'm going to be using is what's called the waterfall design. The idea here is, if you can see, you're seeing now all of that extra green and it's laying flat on the back side. That is the waterfall design. The idea is it will have the yarn go all the way to the ground. So when I turn it upside down, you're not gonna see the white. You might see it a little bit here and there because, no one's perfect. But the idea here, as you can see here on the left, is you're not going to be able to see it anymore. It's going to be nice and flat and rounded all the way. That is the advantage of the waterfall design. There are other techniques, like some people use binding equipment, which is great as well. There's lots of different ways of doing it. I don't have that, so this is the more common way of doing it. We have multiple different colors that we're going to be using today. The first was a teal one. There is a pair of each color. So next up is a red sparkle. The one before that was a pink, blue, and white. But that first one didn't really have a lot of white in it, but the second one will. This red sparkle I'm absolutely addicted to. I love this sparkle from Big Twist yarn. They have several different colors, and I use several different colors in this video. This took me about 30 minutes to do for these dozen. As you see here, it really sparkles super well. You can see those little bits in there. It is 3% metallic yarn. And so that is how you get the sparkle. As you can see, it's kind of a system. You put the hot glue down, press a bunch of it, then press on top of it to make it as flat as possible. And then you can see here, there are some pieces that go a little too far. They would have been stuck to the glue, essentially. Like I just had to use too much glue, which is a common problem for me. But, at the end of the day, you just kind of scrape it back and it will go back into position. But sometimes you get lucky like this blue one and it just lays flat and perfect. And that's really what you want. You want to be able to see all that color on the back side nice and flat. And then afterwards, each one of these would have been trimmed up, and I put a cleat onto them so that these can all be wall mounted. That one also has the sparkle in it and looks really good. Use the yellow, blue, pink, and white mix. Sorry for the camera work there. Some of these ones, as I pushed, it was kind of a mistake there. I was like, oh yeah, I want to keep these hearts in the shot. And then I realized later in the edit, I was like, I am way far back. But yeah, we're going to be working on that here soon, trying to get, better and better. Obviously the show's called, the House of Improvements, the channel there, right? So, I'm always going to be trying to improve. As you can see, a big problem this year is camera angles. Trying to get them all right. The audio sounding way better. I think the video quality is looking way better. So next up is getting markers. Now I start to understand why all these TV shows, they have little markers of like, okay, all the contestants stand here and the camera will see it perfectly, Now I get why. Now that one doesn't have any sparkle to it, but it does have a great sheen to it. As you can see, yeah, so I was saying, Yeah, I just kind of pushed them all to the back. I was like, whoops. So you can kind of see half of it, but you know, the left screen there will show you what the action's going on. And I think by now we figured it out what's happening, right? Yeah, glue it and then push it, glue it and push it, and keep on going. Also, if you ever want, I do custom colors and commissions. So if you want a full custom design, I can do that. Otherwise, if you ever see something on this channel and you're like, ooh, I wish he had done that in purple instead or something, contact me. You know, I'll absolutely, especially something like this, I can fit them into other plans really easily. I mean, it might not be in time for Valentine's Day, but you know, I originally made this design actually for last Mother's Day. Is originally what I started doing these heart designs. And so I figured out today, this year, I bring it back for Valentine's, but ultimately, I'm probably going to do it again for Mother's Day. I thought it was a really good one. This yellow one sure does look good. And as you can see, my hands get dirtier and dirtier throughout this whole video. Next up, we have Pink Sparkle. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this speed? I decided to do the whole video in 300 speed, but I'm thinking of maybe in the future cutting it down even more, or doing the first couple in 300 speed and then just cutting down the rest to be like only 5 or 6 seconds. So you tell me in the comments below, do you prefer this style of seeing 100% of the content just very sped up, or do you want a condensed version of the content, just the highlights, and instead, I can edit that down more. This one's definitely a little bit faster for me to do, but the other one, could be more dynamic for sure. That one's awesome too. It's Pink Sparkle. You can see the little, again, 3% metallic yarn in it, so it will sparkle away. And being as it's a 3D object, what's really cool is, you look at it from the left side, the right side, you get different sparkle however you look at it, All right, now we're going to finish up the other yellow. As you can see there, I take certain extra caution at the tip there to try to make it so it's not only like rounded, but flat too, right? So you want that point, but also flat. So next up, this is a coaster. And so this is a standard 4" by 4" coaster. You've seen me make a bunch of these if you ever see my live streams or anything like that. I call them canvas fillers. So, if you have an extra couple inches in your canvas, then you can just pop this little 4" square in and it makes a nice little coaster. I sell them for $5 each. And then finally, this is the coolest one that I made. And so the previous purple one and this one were both done with a shag carpet tufting gun instead of a regular tufting gun, which I've done for the other dozen. Yeah, so I'm super excited about this one. Unfortunately, I did ruin the gun, and so I have ordered a new one, but it's on back order. So this is the only shag carpet ones you'll see from me for the foreseeable future, but I believe it said February 20th is when it should start shipping. So hopefully sometime in March, you'll see more of this, because it was big plans this year for this extra large tufting gun, and then immediately broke it. It's been a really rough start, but man, look at that. Isn't that cool? Like, isn't that so cool? And then once you trim it up, or I'd say once I trim it up, it will be 3 hearts. So this was meant for a throuple. So that's 3 people in one relationship instead of 2 people in one relationship. And so, that way you can have your individual couple ones that I made the individual hearts, and then that was a throuple one. Thank you all so much. I'll see you next one.